Yes, so right now the setup that Jamaica is in, so if you apply for the license, the government has the right to give you the license or not. That is the law. That means that there is a law stopping you. So they have to give the license.
So the same man where we come from foreign, didn't he apply for the license and get it?
He didn't apply, they offer it to him.
Did he apply? How you know that?
They said they had it in a meeting. They just had an open meeting on it. They offered it to Barack.
That's how it is given. Come on. Listen, don't nitpick at words when it pleases you. Somebody applied for a mining right in Jamaica.
That's not how it works, man. Listen, let me explain to you. Let's say.
I'm trying to get at something.
Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you how it's supposed to go. Let me explain to you how it's supposed to go.
It's supposed to go. No, we're not working with supposed to. We are working with what is. And my question to you again is, what would stop a man in a Jamaica from farming a company, going to China, as you said, buying the equipment for $2,000, applying for the license to mine and mine? What is preventing a Jamaican from doing it?
Nothing.
The last hurdle, did they give out any gold mine license to any Jamaican, any mining license?
Man, think about what you're saying, bro. What common sense? Common sense. What I want him answer me. Do you know of a Jamaican that applied and was turned down?
I haven't checked it yet.
Then why the hell are you here spreading rumor for something where you don't check?
What do you mean rumor? I heard it offered. It was offered to Barack Gold.
Asking, sir, do you know of a Jamaican that has applied and was turned down?
No, change the topic.
No, it is the very same topic. Do you know of a Jamaican that applied for the license and was turned down?
I'm telling you, the license was already offered without nobody applying for it. The license was given away for the whole country. Can you understand? The license was given away for the whole country for the exploration of gold.
Brethren, stop telling that.
That mad money, man.
Stop telling that.
All right.
Overseas, I'm telling you what going on down one of feet there.
Brethren, stop telling that. What you say don't make sense. Are you saying that one company
that Google it, my youth.
Jamaican for gold? That makes sense to you, brethren?
What you say?
That makes sense to you?
I won't even think Jamaica do want to make sense. Jamaica take the IMF money, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. That's the next thing we want to talk to you about now.
Yeah.
One second, Chuck.
Okay, all right. So hold on.
What is Jamaica's debt to the IMF? What is Jamaica's debt to the IMF?
Me nah beat round the bush.
$2 billion.
That is a lie. What is Jamaica's debt to the IMF? I'm asking you, and I'm asking you because I know. Yes, run go Google it and come back. You see, you cut down Google it to come back because you're here speaking of something that you have no idea about. What is Jamaica's debt to the IMF?
Chuck, you said you know. That means you're the minister. You're minister of finance.
No, I know because I spend the time to do the research before I come here and speak.
Okay, because you're
gone to Google it and you can come back and answer.
No, it's half a billion.
Half a billion.
$500 million. You say you come back and change it now.
I gave you an estimate. I didn't tell you I knew exactly. I told you I gave you an estimate. I'm not in Jamaica.
What $1 billion you say? $1 trillion you say?
I said 1.2. That's close to 6. It's 600 million.
Ask in your house.
How far away
are you? Their information, okay? Don't let them come and motion. Challenge their information.
Listen, I told you clearly that's a guesstimate. What's the point that you're trying to get at?
The point is you're here saying, we take IMF money and you don't know what is the obligation to the IMF. Did you know, let me ask you this, are you aware that 75% of Jamaica's debt is held locally?
Currently owes $800 billion US dollars to the IMF. 800 million.
That's the special drawing rights. But they also owe the World Bank 3.36 billion USD as of 2024.
Fucking hell, man.
Okay, so 3.36 billion USD dollar they owe the World Bank as of 2024. As of 2025, they owe the International Monetary Fund $605 million with us $800 million in reserve drawing, in special drawing rights.
Okay, so that is who did he say? No.
Special drawing rights. That's the next thing we need to address. That's the word that a lot of Jamaicans know.
It's not.
Honorable President, before I want to jump all over the place, because it seems like we don't want to control the narrative of this life, and that's not what I'm going, but where I'm going with this life. We are going from this to that to that. So we want to go back to what the original life was about, okay? Because we're all over the place right now. We're not going from World Bank, International Monetary Funds. You know, we started with straw man. So you brought up a good point, which I would like to tie that in, because it does matter into where I'm going with the life. So you brought up the point of the Republic transition, which is great, because I've been talking about the jail people and the paid people for the past 2 to 3 days, and I even brought up the new UIC, the new third party, and I addressed them in depth. I don't know, someone just come on the live here. You have not been on the live for a couple of days, so I brought them up in depth from the inception until now, with facts, numbers, and everything like that, and what they've actually accomplished and what they did not accomplish. So now that we're at the point, I was talking about this new third party. When I'm mute to the mic. Gratitude, the third party, UIC, and why nobody don't know about them. And I said that they actually on paper have the revolution on paper. Just like how me point out the jail people issues and what they have done and call them into judgment. And I did the same thing for the paying people issues and call them out into judgment. I was doing the same exact thing for the UIC, the third party who have revolution on paper but don't connect with the people. So I was letting them know from this end that they need to connect with the people. However, that's one thing I never addressed while I was addressing the jail people, was truly them trying to take. I think I addressed that a long time ago, but not recently, about them taking control in the Republic transition and what that means for Jamaica. So I'm not going to address it now. Since Honorable President bring it up, we're going to address it now. What does that mean for the jail people to control the narrative or control the Republic transition, which it has been 2024. We know where it start, but them start look on it in 2024, because I guess the cry go out, and if you look at what's going on in the world, there's a wave, and somehow them want look like them there with the wave. So them want.
Let me answer this.
No, Chuck, you can't ask me the question yet. Never open the floor for questions. I want to finish my thought process. So give me a second. Them want to go with this wave, the Abraham Traore wave, the Julius Malema wave, the Ivory Coast wave, the Guinea wave that they're starting. Them trying to.
How long has Jamaica been trying this? That's you have to answer that before you say.
Chop. Never put you up on mute, because I told you that I will address you. Had you been following my life for the past couple of days, you could have answered your own question, because I addressed all of that already. From the top to the bottom. I went from Buster Manti. I went from Norman Manley. There you go. Or you can come off of the life. Either way, it works just fine with me. Okay? So I am not going to go all the way back right now, because even at the beginning of the life, I still addressed both parties and what they did and what they didn't do. I call it Judgment Day. Whoever saw it yesterday saw the Judgment Day. But like I said, Honorable President brought up a great point. So I would like to speak to that effect, because that's very important for Jamaican people who think they're going to vote this year, for understand. I had spoke about it before, but a lot of people never, I guess it went over them head. So if the jail people control the Republic transition, meaning they control the blueprint of the new system. Understand this, Jamaica. The ruling party will get to shape the new constitution, the governance structure, and even the limits of presidential power. Understand that this means the new republic could be custom designed to protect the jail people's own interests and not to liberate the people. So understand that jail people was never created to even liberate the people. So if they're not created to liberate the people from the beginning, and they've been in power for all these years and have done nothing for the people, but for the rich and the foreign investors, then if they control the transition to the republic, that means they control the blueprint. That means everything is going to be in their favor. They're going to choose how much you say. Right now, think about it. When jail people was in charge, more young people are going down and jail and everything. They have more policing for crime because they benefit from crime. So, will the public get to vote on every article of the new constitution? That's questions you must ask yourself. Will there be a mass consultation in garrison community, hills, riverside, villages, and rural farms? Ask yourself that question. Or will it be a committee of the elite lawyers and party loyalists writing your future without you? Because remember, this is not something, as Honorable President said, that they're highlighting. They just talk about water where them can't go, Mason Hall on the roadside, this a baby where them hug, and it's so sickening. Me watch the PM, I walk down one road, if shoes I get dusty because the road is not paved, and I hug up a couple of the people, and I pick him up and say, you remember me? And me I look much patrol, him have to dodge from them shoes when I walk on the same road, and me I say, hold on, at what point somebody I stop and say, yo, PM, check out this, look on the road here. You know, say, I almost broke your ankle when you walk with me down the road. No, that's not what they're doing. That's how blind we are. How you walk on the road when up here and pull a patrol with a man that's supposed to hold the power to do it. And you don't bring it up your top, but if you remember me and I hug up and I get excited, we too frightened. So understand that. So far, they've stopped the committee that's not democracy. That's dictatorship in a suit. Okay, them have the committee fee now. We don't know nothing about the committee. Them stuck it already. Okay? So the jail people is a colonial offspring. Remember me have that for 2 days me I talk about these colonial offsprings. The jail people is a colonial offspring. You can't build a free black nation using the blueprint of white imperialists and expecting the children of colonizers to liberate you. Jail people was founded in 1943 under British rule as a tool to manage worker unrest. I addressed that 2 days ago and yesterday again. Bustamante, the founder, sided with British interests during labor strikes. Jail people has always supported foreign investment, IMF debt, and land giveaways. So they're now leading the republic transition. You have to ask yourself this: will they give back the land? Will they sever ties to the Privy Council? Will they restore the Maroon rights? Will they empower Rastafari, grassroots educators, and cultural revivalists? The answer, as far as history has told us, is going to be no. No. This is a control explosion. They act like they're removing chains, but them just painting it in gold. Jail people controlling the removal of the British monarch means they're removing a symbol, not a system. They're keeping the power in Parliament, not returning it to the people. They may replace monarchy with a puppet president while the Prime Minister keeps full executive control. They avoid land reform, economic decolonization, or spiritual freedom. Understand that. What should happen is a people constitution assembly with youth, elders, Rasta, Maroons, farmers, teachers, and historians. Full publication of every change proposed with open debates, not secret committees. Referendum with informed voters after national education campaign. End the Queen's Privy Council with creation of a Jamaica People's Justice Council and Land Redistribution Act immediately after becoming a republic. But how much how the Jamaicans know about this? How much how they actually understand what this means? I want to just hear about it. Can we talk about it already? Now some people say, oh, I'm not true. I mean, I have to pull up the information. I say, yes, it's true. Okay? But the only thing is, say, we're not going to elect him as the president. No, it's not going to be elected by the people. And this is not misinformation, Omar 876. Okay? It's not.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because that long thing you're reading, you see, and where you get that document from? Or those are your ambition?
My ambition?
Yeah, you sat down last night and...
That was perfectly delivered. Applaud. Perfectly delivered. Applaud.
Yeah, where you get that from?
If this is
Let
my
me explain to you.
ambition.
Let me explain to you guys.
Right?
So wait, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you where this came from. Okay. First of all, let me explain to you where this came from. First of all, this came from me. I'm supposed to be the Prime Minister and the President of Jamaica. Right now, I'm stuck overseas. You may not know about me. You don't need to know about me.
One second.
Let me just finish. Honorable President of Africa speaking. You can go up on my profile and look at me and the Queen that and the King are hang out at Jamaica with
Oh, sorry. Is you write that document? Oh,
yes, no, I don't mean write the document. Let me explain to you how it started. How it started was the Prime Minister went on the Gleaner, or I was on Instagram. I saw the Gleaner. The Prime Minister was on a post. Let me explain to you. Let me finish.
Honorable President. He can check the total IMF credit outstanding movement from May 1, 2022, IMF.org, that's on the IMF site itself, tradingseconomics.com, worldbank.org, I can go down the whole list. It's a list of sources that's coming directly from them. Let me tell you something where government love to do. Common sense. And I'm doing it in every country.
Allow the lady to talk. Because everything what you're saying is things that I support. Ask Adi. Those are things that I wrote about in my book that is coming out.
No, matter
it's true. Common sense not talking anything from knowledge.
Common sense is pushing the JLP agenda. We want to free the people. Yo, we want to free the people.
If you're not there for free the people, leave, man.
Yeah, we're not there for free the people. No bully nobody here, brother.
I'm not bullying, man. I'm just asking the president of what? I don't understand how that.
Yeah, like Marcus will be the first president of Africa.
The man go by name, Honorable President. Allow the man to be what he is. You say your name, common sense. Common sense of what?
Okay, sir. All right, just get it straight.
Okay, so let me explain to you how it started. The Prime Minister came out on Gleaner and said, I only get paid 8 million Jamaican dollars a year. And I didn't know he was tagged on Twitter. And I saw that. I was very upset. I was like, okay, you're a puppet. You're supposed to get paid 8 million. 8 million Jamaican dollars is $50,000 US a year. That's what your head of state is getting. The head of state of Jamaica. Which look at our GDP compared to what he's getting. So what I'm trying to say is, I made a statement. I think it got him upset. I said, okay, you're not the head of state. You shouldn't even get paid half of that. You're a puppet. You're not even second or third in line. You have the Governor General. Then you have people even behind him. So I was like, you haven't done anything for the country. The next week he came out and said he's gonna keep a referendum and he's gonna change the head of state. That's when it started. December. I made that comment in November. You can look when he made that video. He made that video in about November, October 2024 on the Gleaner saying, I only get paid $88 million a year. I made the comment the next month. He's like, because they know what these people is doing. They know what's happening. Right now, what's going to happen in Jamaica, more than likely the referendum won't work because Britain is already at war and Jamaica by law is supposed to go to war if Britain goes to war.
Maybe just a point of correction. Holness had it in his manifesto from 2016 to 2020 to make Jamaica a republic. So I don't think
he can put in his manifesto. He never took any actions whatsoever.
Yeah, at the time they just come, he wouldn't be reacting to what you say,
Okay, but let me explain to you. You're still defending him. So if he's holding a proper referendum, why has he not educated the country that they're Britain? Whoever controls your money controls the country. So Jamaica don't control our money. We need to get by the drawing rights. Next, we need to control our troops. Third, we need control of our land. Once we don't have three of those, just goodbye to Jamaica.
Yeah, you know what you could do? I know disrespect. Just consider your cause done already because you'll never see that.
Yeah, and but this will be part of a broader constitutional process intended to transition Jamaica into a republic. So me and them come say it in a parliament when they introduced the Republic Act.
Common sense. One more thing. When you say what Honorable President requests or asks for, our desire will never happen because we have a lot of Jamaicans like yourself who do not want that. We've been tethered too long. Hold on, man. We've been tethered too long to the plantocracy. Jamaican and men don't have any ambition. All they want to do is run back a politician. None of we don't want to own with water. None of we don't want to own with road. None of we don't want to own with utility. All we want to say, we depend upon a politician to do it for you. I am 100% sure in your community you don't own no water. You pay water to National Water Commission and them turn off the water when they want. And you don't own no light and they turn off the light when they want. And you don't not hold no road. The pothole them in your road stand up like an Andrew nose. Nobody in your community no have no right to what their taxes do. And you don't mind. You don't mind because your party is in power. That is where Jamaican men are. That's where Jamaican men are. That's where you are.
Everybody in the world pay them water and them light to a company or something or the government. That's the way
it is in where I live, in my state, we own the water. We own the light. We own the sewage. My town, I can Google it. Look at it now.
Common sense. Common sense. Stop defend foolish. Because first of all, the biggest light company in Jamaica is owned by the British.
Look up Sono. Light and power. Which is South Norwalk.
Look how common sense. Look how common sense.
Norwich. Look up Norwich. Public utility. Those two communities in the state of Connecticut own all their utility. The people own it. No company don't own it.
So you know feel like
that? Too lack of ambition. I'm a Jamaican man too lack of ambition.
You know feel like Jamaican man, them pay some people to sell out, you know? Like common sense, them man, their people they pay to sell out.
We maintain the thing. But when everybody else appear, we pay like about 30% of the national average. Because we own it.
Yeah, the biggest problem in Jamaica right now is electric bill. Like 60%, 70%. You know how much of people money go towards electric bill? And that's owned by a British company. The PMP came in and they gave the Chinese the right to build a power plant off Kingston coast at the wharf. What would have dropped the price of electricity down by 90%, and the JLP tore up that bill. You know them keep setting Jamaica back day by day.
Let me tell you something.
Japan. The KPS is owned by foreign investors, including Murray, Benny, Japan, and East West Power South Korea. The Jamaican government probably own like maybe 19.9% of
Let me tell you something. Jamaica is in the best position it is. The problem that Jamaica has over the last 22 years, PMP was in power and them stagnate and destroy the country.
Okay, you might.
Now we have a great prime minister.
I would hate to have to go back through from Bustamante and Norman Manley and 1938 all the way down to Andrew Onis. Can me give every single prime minister who ever ruled Jamaica, I gave exactly what they did, factual, line by line. Okay, so that's why I do this. I have to educate my brothers and sisters so to stop blaming one, because that's it. It's manipulation and deception. Them just keep telling from back and forth.
Let me tell you something, Empress. The people common sense. The people who you hear talk about the PNP was in the power. I know these are the best they ever see Jamaica. These people are economically worse off. If you ask them their net worth, let me tell you, they don't worth nothing. What the JLP have always done.
JLP and always done.
Let me explain to you guys.
Hold on. One point. What the JLP have always done, through the history of the JLP, is encourage a consumer culture. So them tell you how much you can spend, how much you have to spend. But not what you work, you don't have nothing. So they will set up KFC, they will set up supermarket and sell a chicken back and flour, but you will own nothing under JLP government. This is the worst Jamaica has ever been. No road, no water, no hospital. And these are the three most essential things to sustaining life. Road, to get you to the hospital where work, and water in the hospital.
Yeah, Moortown Maroons. Listen, the Moortown Maroons where Nanny is come from already harvest water from Blue Mountains. It's a scale of a model that we can use. So them not even need a water commission, them harvest water. So the people them own that. You understand? You can own the water and the light.
Look, all I'm trying to say is that Jamaica is going into them second world status now. Eventually, with wholeness at the hem,
we will be a first world country. And he's doing everything right.
Common sense, stop it. You have to speak numbers. Speak numbers. First of all, when the JLP took the government,
Honorable, common sense. No, common sense. You are right, common sense. You are right. It's going to be a great first world country for the elites and the foreign investors.
No, you cannot say that.
No, that's exactly what's going on. Common sense. Common sense.
The working class and the middle class.
Common sense. You don't
Jamaica is going to be a first world country.
What's going on with hold on. What's going on with Roaring River down in St. Anne's? What's going on with Roaring River right now?
Meaning what?
Exactly. What's going on with the beaches for the beaches for the fisherman?
What is happening with the lack of water and the whole Negril? The entire Negril. And St. Elizabeth farmers.
Come on, tell me.
Yes, common sense. If you get in an accident on the highway right now, do you think there's an ambulance that will come pick up you and carry you to emergency room?
No, I don't even have ambulance.
Hold on. Everybody hold on. I'm glad you bring up that IBN. Me call 11. I had an emergency. Somebody needed an ambulance. Me call an ambulance 110. When me call it, dispatch, I say, hello, what is your emergency? I say, I have an emergency. I need an ambulance right away. Them say, okay, let me transfer you. Them transfer me and I get the fire department. The fire department said, them don't know why them send me over here. Call back 110. Me call back 110 and 110 say, oh, me sorry. Let me send it to one other person. Them send me to one other person. Them say, oh, we sorry. We don't have no ambulance right now. So if you get in a car accident, common sense, you are going to be
you bleed out. You get bleed out.
Me can't tell you because I tested theory. I caught
in Kingston, if Kingston,
which part you live? I don't know which part of the world you are what Jamaica from.
He's paid to support Jamaica.
You might need a tall and telescope because the one way you use now word.
Common sense. Let me tell you one more thing. Common sense. One more thing.
He's paid to support
police. I see police meeting an accident upon the highway. And somebody come and pick him up out of a burning vehicle. And somebody hold him by his shoulder and by his foot and throw him in the back and pick up.
Jamaican. Listen. Jamaica don't even have trained EMT. Hold on, IBN.
At risk.
Hold on, IBN. Jamaican motorists and Jamaican taxi drivers are the ambulances for Jamaican people.
All right,
common sense.
Thank you. As a first world country in claim.
Hold on. Your taxi driver and your motorist that you're telling.
No, let me give you something better. Let me give you something better. Common sense. When I go up on the internet and type, I want the countries in the Caribbean that's safest to raise family, work environment, and life. They're gonna give you Barbados, Curacao, and some other country. They're gonna say, do not, it's cautionary, do not move to Jamaica, Trinidad, and Haiti. May I tell you that?
All right.
Common sense. Hold on, man. I was making a point and I got stopped. I am going to tell you this. Even when you see a taxi driver who is the lifeblood, the logistics mover of our country right now, none of them not training at EMT. Not one of them not have no basic first aid skill.
No first aid knowledge.
When you see one taxi driver pick up somebody when no accident, you can see them grab them. I have 3-level EMT training. Staff sergeant at the US Army. And when me come to Jamaica, I say, if you see me dead, ship me back to the US. Because not even the corpse me don't want.
Let me tell you something. That's why community involvement is good, IBN. What we need, there's no combat life saving. What we need in Jamaica is to start teaching our communities the first basic first aid.
First level EMT.
First thing. Because a lot of times when people come, because
as long as you don't have propaganda, man. No propaganda here, man. Honesty. Common sense. Just give me some common sense. Give me some honesty, no propaganda.
Yeah, man, no propaganda, man. Honesty, man. It's like just JLP propaganda.
No propaganda.
It's called propaganda. You're not getting figures.
No, make a reason or something. You hear me? Yes, all of what you guys identify are problems. Me can't deny that. I will never deny that. Of course, we need better hospital service. We need better ambulance services. We need more police and all of them kind of stuff there.
No,
the hospital
every day them increase the police. Every day them increase the police. We need
Listen.
We need better hospitals. We need urgent care centers in each community. People don't have to travel 600 miles to get to a near hospital. There needs to be urgent care centers in each community. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, let me explain to you guys how Jamaica is supposed to run from somebody that's going to be in politics, okay? So Jamaica, first of all, what is our exchange rate? That's like propaganda now. People are getting information. Let me get information. Let me teach you guys how Jamaica is supposed to be run. First of all, Jamaica have stuff that's more expensive than gold. That's why Jamaica should be a first world country. When you go to a hotel, when you go for someone over here, book a hotel room in Jamaica, that's almost $500, $400 a night for a luxury hotel room at Sands. That's 5 times, 8 times the price of oil, a barrel of oil. And the Jamaica government don't own not one hotel industry. If the royals we get from the hotel industry and the profit that goes overseas also, if that was kept in the country, and they own the most strategic land for tourism. So if we was ever to redistribute that wealth, the first thing, when Fidel Castro asked for help in Cuba and they rejected his help, the first thing he did was took back all the hotels, and that's when all hell broke loose. Because that's where the money comes into Jamaica. We have other resources we can.
We need a levy. We need a levy now. We need to put a levy on the hotel. Tourist industry.
Let me explain to you what type of government Jamaica is supposed to be running. Let me finish. Common sense. I'm not finished. I'm gonna say something you guys have never seen or heard. But the type of the government Jamaica needs to be run under is like China. It's imperialism with capitalism. So the government have a control over more stuff, but the people can own business, the people can own land. So the government have an initiative to make sure that certain industry are built, certain industry are done, and the private sector, you guys can be involved too. You can own company, you can own property, you can own business, and you can contribute to building that. But once we have a democracy where this is how democracy destroy Jamaica. Democracy don't work because once you take 5 years, let's say PMP come in or whoever, they change the system and we have president. All right, let's say JLP come in for president for 5 years. They say, okay, I want to build a new airport and I want to build a railway. That's going to take 15 years to build. By the time he start building that and 4 years pass by, a new election come, a new party come in, them change the plan. They don't want that anymore. Them want to build ships. The next thing you know, 4 years pass by, a new government come in, them change the plan, them want to build airports. So when you look, 15 years pass by, 3 projects were started, none of them are finished, $100 billion wasted, and the country is 10 years behind. So that's the issue with Jamaica. Once we have an imperial system where one person leads the whole country, you're gonna still have a democracy, a prime minister, a president who runs who listens to the people and change all the law. But you have to have somebody behind the prime minister that makes sure that the president don't abuse the law, don't abuse the power. So in Britain, they don't show you that. That's how you run it in Britain. They have a prime minister in Britain, but the king calls the shots behind that. The king controls the money. So the Bank of England is owned by the king. So the prime minister can say whatever you want to say. They give him a budget, to pay the people for, But when it comes down to who owns the gold and who sends people to war, that's the king. So until Jamaica gets that, we're going to be lost for another 100 years. But, they're making a move on Jamaica with this referendum thing.
You guys are young people, and I'm going to come down, Charlie. You guys are young. You guys are young.
No, man, I'm a young man. I was born in the 1970s. I was born in the 70s.
Allow common sense to talk. Yes, no common sense coming to hear you.
You guys are young people and how to talk about this stuff you read, right? Listen, I've lived through every prime minister and I was born during Colonial period of time, right? You guys might not know. At one point, even up to 1969, 1970, 1972, Jamaica was even ahead and richer than China and Singapore and them countries, right? And Jamaica also was the richest island in the Caribbean and they had the highest literacy rate right up until 1972. But something went wrong. You know what went wrong? This is the story. We had a guy came in there, Manley, and him start one so-called democratic.
Oh, Lord, 1972.
No. Michael Manley came in, Jamaica was like about 80% illiterate. Michael Manley started Jamaica adult literacy movement.
IBN, common sense. Common sense. You know what's sad? Is that you're proving everything that I've talked about for the past 2 days. You have been through.
No, let me finish the point.
No, man, don't lie, man. No, we don't want to lie for nobody, man.
Common sense is not common, okay? Common sense is like common, like perfume, a lot of people don't use it. Listen.
I was born 1972, I remember 1976 election.
Hold on, IBN, I forgot mute. Common sense. For somebody that has transpired, that has actually lived through, quote unquote, all these transitions of prime ministers and party, and have experienced the economy.
Yes.
We need to come right to you right now. So I'm going to send the ancestors to you so they can break the mental chains off of you. Because right now you're wrapped up and tied up and tangled up. You have been so blinded that you did not know what's going on in your own country. Because what you're
established by the CIA.
And for somebody that's younger than you, and to tell you that Michael Manley is the one that brought in Jamaica, because the people them couldn't read. Why do you think it gets sabotage? Jamaica, yes, I can bring in
Jamaica. Come on, I want common sense.
Not there again. So for you to say that,
common sense.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on, give me a second.
Common sense. You must leave Jamaica when you're
with the propaganda.
And watch Jamaica from this. And watch Jamaica from newsroom. You must have left Jamaica as a child and watch Jamaica from the newsroom. Because you couldn't live through those era without realizing what's going on. You couldn't live through
common sense. Go on a website called the Freedom of Information Act, CIA website, and they will give you the outlay as how Edward Seaga destroyed Jamaica's economy between 1980 and 1989.
Nonsense.
They will show you how the CIA, my friend, is asking you, CIA under Jimmy Carter infiltrated Jamaica 1976.
You're
right. Common sense.
I am not asking. It's declassified information, common sense.
It's declassified information. It's declassified. If you go on the website, you'll find it.
Could I allow to make a point, please? Could I allow to make a point?
I want to make a point.
Read the common sense.
Common sense. Paul, just come on. Give me a chance.
Give me a second.
No, we're going to make it talk common sense, but hold on.
No, make common sense, make the point. Make common sense talk.
Okay, go ahead. Paul, so make it talk.
Here what happened with all on up there, see? Only saw brainwash, and even labor I get that brainwash pill to take it, right? When Michael Manley win 1972, I was one of the campaign for Michael Manley, right? When Michael Manley win the 72 election, right? Michael Manley had free reign of Jamaica. There was no CIA intervention in 1972 when Manley get power. Get that straight. So Manley had no CIA intervention 72, 73, 74, 75, right? No intervention. Yes, CIA did intervene, but it was after 1976 now when Michael Manley started being cropped up.
Under Jimmy Carter, 1976, that's when the CIA intervened. That's what I said.
More socialists do not understand. Them push this narrative that boom, Michael came to power 72 and boom, the CIA come and destabilize them. Let me tell you something. The first destabilization of Jamaica started with Michael Manley. And you know how? He started destabilizing Jamaica by destroying the productive class, the manufacturing class, and when he tell the people them 5 flights a day and he chased out investor class out of the country. That's what happened.
Okay, so
the first destabilization of Jamaica started with Michael Manley.
Common sense.
No, the CIA.
Common sense. Hold on.
The CIA. Let me finish.
Common sense. No, we can't make him finish because the first thing him said, him use a word called destabilization. destabilization, without understanding that destabilization of any country is always an external thing. It's never an internal thing.
It can be internal.
No, I'm sorry. Common sense. We don't know what industry you're in, We don't know how much classified and declassified information you're privy to.
I think you understand them like destabilization limited. What destabilization
Hold on.
for me is making that which is stable unstable.
Common sense.
Making that which is stable unstable.
Me tell you already. Me I can tell you what happened. You see when Mike and Manley came, see Bustamante had the people and right where the Queen wanted them. Listen,
Nonsense.
Mike and Manley came. You know why? Hear the truth. I never tell you the truth. So this is the truth that you must face. Okay, when Mike and Manley came, he went left. He didn't follow the script. He said power to the people. He told the United States, we don't want your help. We don't need you. They got pissed off, just like with Abraham Traore. That's what he did. And when he did that,
before you got the
Paul, I'm not. Me call you when you're ready.
You want common sense. So it's she's starting to the panel that tried it's a platform.
I'm going to speak.
No. When she said to you,
just allow me to make a fight and leave.
To you, you said didn't you say let common sense speak?
No, yes? Take over the conversation.
Give up your time.
Yes, I said that.
Go ahead.
No, man. Allow me to say the time, man. Because you make...
Want to hear what the host has to say?
No. The host is making a number inaccurate statement.
No, the host is appealing to my conscience.
No.
Allow my conscience to be stimulated, brother.
Please.
Alright, thank you, my brothers. Okay, so like I was saying, the moment you mention destabilization, hold on, Paul, me come back to you. The moment you mention destabilization, I realized, and you start blaming Michael Manley, I realized that you truly did not understand what was going on. Or maybe, like I said, you must have migrated very young, so you just watch news. So listen, let me tell you, from a person who understand, I know about destabilization.
Let's say Michael sabotage the country.
I'm going to give you a lecture, common sense. Hold on. When Paul talks, I'm going to give you a lecture. Hold on. Reggie, listen to what I said. After Paul finished talking, I am going to give you a lecture from 1945 with the Bretton Woods Agreement, the US dollar.
1938. Let's go back to 1938. That's where we need to go back to 1938.
1938, okay? Flashback 38, yes.
We need to go back to 1938 and bring it down. Okay, because what really happened was Michael Manley said power to the people. He was talking about bringing people out of darkness, making them literal, making sure people that had children outside of wedlock could have somewhere. He was talking actually pulling away from crown. Listen, common sense. He was talking about pulling away from Britain. Remember, said in 1962 we get independence. Okay? Hold on, Mark.
See, just hold that minute, please. Let me make the time. Because as I said before, that you are making a number of wild and loud misrepresentation. And not only accusation. But I don't think you're properly seized at the fact.
She running out of come over here.
But she's at the technical facts. She's at the technical
running a platform. Hold on. She running her TikTok.
Doesn't matter.
And you come over here. So, we have people like that on the plantation.
No, hold on. Hold on. You see, because my talk about me and my facts. That's not what
you are. You are making your own facts.
Never mute you because I'm talking and you're interrupting me talking about I'm not talking facts. Even if I'm paraphrasing, yes, you gotta leave because you must be you people don't like to hear the truth. And since you don't want to hear the truth, that's fine. But if you did not follow this platform and did not follow these lives, you would have known that I gave you a breakdown of year by year, by prime minister. Exactly. Me never been about me do the both parties. Each prime minister got their opportunity to face judgment. They got the opportunity to face Nani and face them judgment. The only prime minister that was not as
host. Let me.
Why may I tell you?
So let me give you a little knowledge. What you're doing is very good. What you're doing is very right. But understand this. This is like what's going on with Ibrahim Traore in Africa. They're gonna pay people to come on your platform.
Because one thing I realize, a lot of times my brothers come on here and they assume because the host might have a more gentler look than Nanny, that we can't out-talk and over-talk, and when me a talk, we don't want to say. But a lot of times I will allow people to just speak and listen. So if I'm speaking, well, if I have the same respect that me give no, because me give no respect, and it's on my platform that I'm giving that respect, because it is a dialogue, it's communication, it's solution. But if you cut off somebody without them finishing their thought, it becomes disrespect at that point, because you feel safe. Are you interject something? What you should do in a dialogue, if you're listening to somebody, if you have something that's different and you don't agree, make a mental note. And if you cannot remember because you don't have such a good memory, jot it down on paper or put it in your notes by your phone, so you can say, yes, you spoke to that and I want to speak to this based on what you said. But you don't cut somebody straight through the middle and carry the conversation somewhere else. That's to divert it or to carry it in a whole other direction that it should not be going. So me, I got to put a full stop period on it right now. Okay? And like I said, I tend to just sit and listen to you, to my brothers and sisters having dialogue. But when I interject a lot of times to correct people, that, like I said, I've been on this mission. And before me come back any platform, me have a conversation with my ancestors, them. And what me always tell them is, me want to know. Me want to know, you want to tell the people, because the people them need to get up. It's time. Me not in a confusion and chaos. Okay? So therefore, let me address common sense. We're not going to go back to the whole thing, because that life was almost 10 hours. It was a long life to go through every single prime minister detail yesterday. So I'm going to summarize it. Okay? I'm going to summarize it. Michael Manley was the only prime minister that stood up for the people. Literally, out of every single prime minister from both sides of the house, he was the only prime minister that stood up for the people. In the beginning, he had fire, he had revolution. Him never come with him suit and tie. Him come, unlike his father, he came because him never wear jacket. Him come just like the smelly on the ground. And him said power to the people. When him tell the US that he did not want their help and they must test it, leave Jamaica alone. Just like when Ibrahim Traore tell France, them go to them big brother US and the Europeans and all of them get together and start them foolery, the propaganda, call it tyranny, label all kind of names. So what they did, they said, oh, if we can't allow him to make Jamaican people, we can't allow this. Because think about it, 1962 was them just put fake independence and they want to keep the power economically. There were still minerals, resources, and a whole lot of things they want benefit. So if this man got freedom and give them back redistribution of land and everything, we are going to have a problem. So what they did, they made sure they got with the opposition party and they had CIA agents. And let me explain how destabilization works for any nation. There are 5 stages to destabilization. First, they're going to carry you in as the leader and try to bribe you with money. Then they're going to say, we're going to take care of your family. We're going to do this. If that don't work, then we're going to say, okay, we're going to plant malls. Try to say the government will do this, the government will do that, because uprising and problems within the people. If that don't work, then we're going to use propaganda and media and start label the prime minister. Oh, they have a lot of methods. And when that done, once them get to the people, which they always do, like they did, guns. They brought in guns. Then buy out the opposition. CIA funded the opposition, brought in weapons, and funded a massacre. Jail people is known for massacring Jamaica. And them to start the massacre to this day, they have blood underneath them hands, and them finger, and everywhere else. Not that pain piece is any more innocent, but jail people is the one that have been massacring our people from the inception of the damn party. Understand this, okay? And when them start the war, when jail people won, and Michael Manley came back into power into 1989, if I'm not mistaken, the date coming out, it's in front of me. He did not come back with that same fire. They had analyzed this fire. They had put his fire out. He did not speak revolution anymore. That's what normally happens to leaders. Okay? So that's after that, Pain P was a done party. It was just like jail people. Pain people and jail people, that's it. They had one opportunity, and believe me, destabilization work like how it works. That's why Ibrahim Traore said, I
Of course.
Exactly. It's the same playbook.
Kissinger said.
The playbook.
Kissinger said.
Okay.
Kissinger said, as for Jamaica, Kissinger said, as for Jamaica, I want to read it in a CIA paper. He said, let the economy scream. That's what Kissinger said.
And
Let the economy scream.
When Michael Manley stood up, he said he said, grow what you eat and eat what you grow, because he understood that the people that cannot feed itself will starve. And starving people will rise up against the same person that's trying to liberate them. So he understood that. So make sure you get your stuff together, common sense. Because jail people has been massacring Jamaica since inception.
Can I say something now?
Yes.
All right. You see, this is what happened. I was one of Michael.
No propaganda.
I was one of Michael Manley's biggest backers. I mean, he used to campaign for Michael Manley. Me no only hear about Michael Manley. Me interact and know about and move around Michael Manley, right? So, me I talk about first-hand information. Me not talk about stories you want to hear about.
This is not stories.
For on the rebound, right? So me
So
can't tell that.
Get your point. Get your point.
No, the point I'm getting to is this. Try and follow me, right? What happened with Michael Manley? Michael Manley get a great economy 72 when he take power, right? But here we am do.
Just drop him. All right, drop him. Just drop him. Drop him. Make him go.
Here we am do.
Hold on. Propaganda not working.
No, propaganda.
The propaganda not working. Propaganda not going to work over here. Please.
What propaganda?
Okay, hold on. So, common sense, since you've worked with Michael Manley and been actually one of his campaign leaders, managers, workers, you want to tell us your name so we can pull you up?
No, and that's why I'm going to go with this kind of name.
Okay, so you don't want nobody know say you work with Michael Manley. So, tell me, what is your age?
Me in my 70s.
You're in your 70s, and at what age were you working with Michael Manley?
We worked through Michael Manley from a teen coming up. Right.
So you was a teenager, and you understand politics very well as a teenager in Jamaica.
Oh yeah, I was on the right road. When I dropped Manley in 1975, you know why?
How old were you in 1975?
Let me tell you why I dropped Manley. Manley was a fraud.
How old were you in 1975?
Manley was a fraud.
How old were you in 1975?
Hey, just drop him on it. Drop him. Just drop him.
Just listen to me. You guys will learn something.
You know why you're not from you? I mean, if me ask you a simple math question right now, you don't know it. You can't answer it. Simple math.
Hold on a minute. Time say no my command the person. I either campaign for my command. Watch where you live, command. Where you live? Come on, put your mic and talk to me, because you're up there to talk about a rubbish.
Yes, is
and if you're 1976 CIA coming to Jamaica, you're lying. Yes, sir. CIA in Jamaica from 1974. That's why my command have a big gun coat. See, violence started in Western Kingston from 1974. So you can't tell me, Jack, you know. Who don't come on this and tell people be a lie. Where political violence start from? In a Western Kingston.
Me that love forget me not coming to tell you to me. Because we make it start. We walk it.
The great God must of them come from this. I'm going to tell you something. Anthony Tingle them. And Wild Regent Street.
Oh, I see my thought now.
I run a lizard town.
And Michael Manley started the political war. You know that?
With Michael Manley them time. What your name?
Bossman.
Where you come from?
And Michael Manley started the political war. You know what I'm starting? You know what I'm starting? In build the gun court.
Brethren, all that element in fire.
And start lock up the upper.
Brethren, good.
Western Kingston, the only PNP can walk in that. My father named Yasha boy, my youth. See, maybe I tell you something. Call them as my man, grow me, so I lie you a tell. Lie him a tell. Don't make him come back with them bag of lie. Western Kingston was the pinnacle of Jamaica. And that man came there and defied us. PNP and Lee. When Michael Manley win 1972, not even a back mash, much as a stone fling. So you come tell me rubbish and me easy. That's why I can't take these guys, you know.
Yeah, I like my tell. We can tell him about water house. We can tell him about firehouse. When Tower Hill and run them from water house.
Some of them know where the brother you come from with them bag of
Listen, Demas, pick up yourself, Demas. It sound like common sense migrated as a child. Watch everything from the news because him talk about him a teenager work. So it sounds like he migrated as a child, watch it on the news, and then start make up him one story because
Him don't know nothing about Jamaica.
it's a simple thing as telling me how old you were in 1975. So me can at least say if you was even did you even understand what you were doing?
Yeah, I ask you what your name. Give me your name. If I give them surname. Give me your name and give me your street name. Wait a minute.
Tell them the man I age them. Why not believe me?
Sit down for me veranda. See, mother, my grandmother go at Oxford University over here, so.
Me tell them the man I age them till they listen to the man.
Them come with them bag of lie and come brainwash with them propaganda and that them.
A one cup
from
PNP will have.
I met Jamaica reach every.
A one cup
Make them reach Jamaica reach every.
JT of all of the gun them.
He's not a political minded person, you know. He's a one leader man. He's a one leader man. You know, as when
me have you no facts. Me have you no facts. Easy facts.
One leader. But watch me now, when you come on to the Jamaica Labour Party, they are the scourge of the earth because me watch them destroy the place where me grew up, you know. They bring gun violence in Jamaica.
All right.
They bring gun violence in Jamaica. They bring gun violence in Jamaica.
All of the dons them and where them come from. Only 2 or 3 done PNP have. You know,
what a fire. Let me give you a small thing. During the 70s. Brother, what a fire now? During the 70s, under Michael Manley, we have produced rice in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth have produced rice.
Who are teaching for go that? Under Fidel Castro students through this.
Michael Manley actually went to Cuba and shook hands with Castro when everybody was at
Automati school out there, so you know. Automati school was built for an agricultural school. Agricultural college. See, me don't want nobody come tell me no gas, you know, because it's like coming over love Jamaica.
All right.
After Siago, when my father run me out and deport me out of Jamaica, you know. Yeah, because in a phone, what uno do, let me say something, some things in my life. All the time, it's a dead man, you know. And when me don't, I'm mad, you know, because I'm mad as well, you know. And it just so, I'm not saying a foundation down there, so. Go ask my cousin them where I run mad. See me name up there, so I ask them if them know me. And them tell you. Between North Street and Rosie, and that's where I come from.
Man, talk to the man you want to talk about the road.
See me everybody about this up. See where I come from? Everybody about this up. Me grew up about this up.
You have to know the road to know what going in politics. Like I tell.
What?
LG, don't worry yourself. I got it. You have to allow people to talk. He said, hold on. LG said, make me a leader. The thing is going right now.
Coward, tell lie. Coward, tell lie. Demos. We are chat about.
Calm down.
We are chat about.
All right. We're not gonna start a war on the thing. Listen, gentle people, meek and mild.
With a heart full of gratitude, I place myself in your presence.
Never love. Listen,
General. Listen.
Never love. Right, LG, don't worry yourself. If you don't know, I keep telling everybody, sometimes you have to keep people on your platform until it's time to take them down, but you have to let people expose themselves. If they're not willing to open up to the truth and information, then that's when you remove them. But you have to let people expose themselves because, let me tell you something. If you had to start to take back Jamaica for Jamaicans, you can't just assume everybody is with you or everybody is on the same side you're on. Okay? So you need for start weeding out very early. The fact is simple. I just ask simple, basic questions. I never asked him TR and him social, him last name, him wouldn't give me first name, but I just asked him how old he was in 1975. A simple thing as an age. We are back in when me probably never really was ready to be thought of yet. So me asked him about the information way back then, and him couldn't even tell me how old he was in 1975. That's a problem, because if you're claiming to work on a campaign with a leader, then you could at least tell me how old you were to say, okay, yes, I was 20-some years old. I was his campaign manager. I was his campaign this, or I was making phone calls. But all y'all tell me is you did photo ops. You did photo ops, or you're watching on the news. So that makes you, you have to weed them out. But we don't want to argue because we have to get to what is a solution. Understand that. Jail people is still jailing people. That's how we call them, jail people. To this day, them still are jail people. Them are jail with young people and I gun them down. Pain people is still causing us pain. Okay? suffer. So that's why I call them. I'm say, I'm gonna bring it to the forefront. I said there's a new party, a third party UIC. And them have a revolution on paper. But my problem with that party is nobody in Jamaica don't know who them is. And them talk too much to the upper class and the middle class, because the lower class people don't know what the heck them talking about. When you bring terms and terminology, you have to break it down so you can't tell the youth say this it mean. But telling them about all these big technical terms, you have to last them when them belly hungry and them road have whole night. You have to tell them exactly what you're gonna do. And you have to present yourself so people can see you start the revolution, because they keep asking me, Nanny, won't you come be a part of the UIC? Me tell us that me can't be a part of something if me not see what is something I'm going on with. On paper it look good, but me want to see you out here. So this morning me wake up and go get some fruits and vegetables. And when me see 10 o'clock in the morning, me see Pain P. I drink up them rum and Campari and look upon them music and I jump up in them vehicle. 10 o'clock in the morning, my brothers and sisters, them present, them I wake you up out of your bed if you're not going to work already, okay? You not dance to them, your own music, you dance with them, Lord, nice. So where is the UIC on the street 10 o'clock in the morning and 5 and all day long? Missy jail people, them all over the place, okay? Them come through up. Sometimes you up on the riverside, they hear them and make one bag of nice that come through. And them and make themselves known, because it's a psychological warfare game. Them still want to keep the people them mentally enslaved. And that we realize that's why them present, that's why them loud. If you have a third party and it's quiet, it don't exist. These other two parties are loud. So if there's a revolutionary party that's going to revolutionize and give Jamaica back to Jamaica, then step up like Ibrahim Chare. Don't tell me you like Ibrahim Chare. You don't step up, because he stepped up. Be loud like Julius Malema, because him not keep quiet and him don't business about can't go court. And him can't touch him. Him don't care who you is. Even, it no matter you can talk to the Caucasian and talk to our people. Him don't care. Him loud, because him a fight for freedom, economic freedom for him people. So UIC, if you are that revolutionary party, you have to be loud. And you have to talk to people to their heart. People can't understand. Yeah.
I'm going to send you the transcript of the book one me just write. Everything what you hear we talk about, I mentioned from when the Bretton Woods Agreement start with the US dollar and the CIA start infiltrate country and mash them down from South and Central America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. Right up, straight up Vietnam War, every war involved. And show you that all the CIA and Edward Seaga was about was economic warfare and economic subversion, so that they can continue the colonial legacy in Jamaica. I'm going to send the transcript.
I like here when you become from Palin, where you did,
yeah.
See, that's why it's something like you talk and some duds come here so, and you rebut them, make them look like idiot. Them can't have yo. Empress, I'm going to come down after your panel right now. You make me compare them, forget just give up, take off my hat to you. You know your facts them right. You know long in the background and listen to you. You know long in the listen to you. Everything you say are truthful. And no man can divide. If they want to find out the truth, got JS archive. Them can't get the truth that being a company. They will find the truth too. See? Trust me. And with the facts of CIA intervention in Jamaica, they are in Jamaica from 1974. From them so Michael Manley is up to. For liberating people them economically. And them never down to that. Take off the shackles off our feet. They never done to car wash me. These guys is not up for we get economical freedom, you know. We may get physical freedom, but economical freedom is not for us. We not for control the destiny economically. They must have the foot on our neck at all time. That man did come to change it, and them never want it. So man like come and them pack them bag and them run out of Jamaica. Leave me for fight, struggle. Me grew up under the struggle, but we have money in our pocket, but we never have no food. We couldn't get no food. Why look? And the food was in the island. After 1980, the amount of food them dash out at sea. And blame Michael Manley said, Michael Manley run the place in our poverty. No. We'd have fight a force, a bigger force than we couldn't anger. See? And Michael man, the soldier, in two in and two out, you know, until me dead, me a feel soldier, you know. Because in policy, when me have for Jamaica, would I gone far? You know far would I gone? You know far would I gone? Two countries in the Caribbean, me would I gone far, you know. Cuba with
General, you talk the truth right now. And that them need for hear. And that me I tell you. You understand? Them can't know about Jamaica. And them never did dip on the street. Them
yes,
never have a name. Them never have a name where you can go by and say, Elder, who the man here? You understand? Me can call name where you know. You understand, Elder? Oh, him not have no name. Because if me say me did a walk up and down with mama like that, if me say me a walk up and down with the great Koja, you'd believe, you'd know who me attack.
Yo, let me explain. Let me answer your question and explain to you guys what's gonna happen though. You talk about the new party that's coming up, that's a revolutionary party. They're not gonna get any notice because this is what you need to understand. You need money and you need publication to run Jamaica. And you control the internet and the broadcasting media and all of these stuff. They're not gonna broadcast the right information. So at the moment, our main people who's been standing for us is PNP, and I tell you,
and social media. We have to use social media. We have to go up on platform like this Empress MPX platform and fight.
Let me tell you something, my brothers and sisters. There was a counselor. I was in a certain country, and there was a person that wanted to run for counselor, but he had went to jail, and his community, he when he talked to us, he felt like in community, they never accept him, but in the whole heap of things being community because he realized that he was, he realized he missed it. I guess he wanted to give back. He had a decent heart. I'm going to tell the man, say, you have to go walk and knock on everybody do it personally. And him do it. And he won. Well, UIC, they might not have the media, because media is propaganda, but you don't need fake media. Them dep on TikTok, them dep on social media. However, if them walk, just like when Flo want to sign you up for them service, when Flo do send people from Kingston come at your yard, they not even come from, which part you come from? They come from Montego Bay, Kingston, and they walk the neighborhood, and a business if you have dog or you don't have dog. They might come at your yard to sign you up. And the same thing PNP do, and the same thing jail people do. Them come at your yard door to door. So if UIC wants to be known and wants to make an impact, they have to go strap up them boots and pull it up by the laces and tie it up tight and start walk. Them can't sing in a suit and tie and give speeches with words that nobody cannot understand or even understand the origination of it. They have to walk from door to door and tell the people what they're about and what they can offer them and what, so people can know. Knowing is half the battle. So even if them don't win this year or whatever, there's still a possibility that them still can come because people are going to know, and knowing is half the battle. It might swing someone up on the fence. You have people on the fence, you have people that people won't bother with nobody, but they don't know of any other option. So go and tell the people that you're going to give back your land and don't talk to them like you talk to, you give a budget speech in a parliament. You have to talk to them at their level. Talk to them about the land, the zinc roof, the pothole, the road. Tell them exactly what you're here for. You're not here for put them in a shackles. You're here to free them. Make yourself so you can understand you come as the Ibrahim Traore of Jamaica. And that them have to go do, but as long as them still in our office with suit and tie and big speeches are complicated words that nobody not understand and can't read, they're just gonna be looked at as another set of people that try to come do what the PNP and the jail people are do. That's exactly how a lot of people see them. And they're gonna look like them now got on away.
No, let me explain. Let me explain something to you. So how Jamaica politics work, this has to happen in Kingston between the PNP and the JLP. Why in Kingston and why between those two? Kingston is where 60% of the population of Jamaica live. You have 3 million people in Jamaica, 2 million of them live in Kingston. So that's why all the fight has happened over Kingston. Whoever control Kingston controls Jamaica.
That's not true.
So
yes,
I'm talking.
The UIC do have candidates, and that's what I'm saying. Nobody don't know. But they do have candidates, because I was shocked to find out there's a candidate for Western St. Mary. There's a candidate for St. Andrew Kingston. They have candidates all over. It's just that nobody knew about them. There's more people than what you're saying, Honorable President. There's more. Listen, the more people I know about them, the less likely pain people and jail people will have. Scooping up everybody. People are tired. People are stressed. People need a better option. People, I see what going on in Burkina Faso. They see what happened in Niger. They see what happened in Mali. They see how Julius Malema don't take no check and stand up for people in the matter against the CMANC. Knowing the background that Ramaphosa dude, he wanted to throw Mandela out a long time with him look coward self. Him see what going on. Him see how when a silent president go to the colonial masters, how them nervous and them shaky and them just suck up and lick boot. Them see the boot lick at them. So him stand up. So now UIC needs to present themselves as that. Present themselves as that revolution. But they're not. They're still presenting themselves like suit and tie.
Ma'am, it won't happen, and not for any time soon. So let me explain to you first and foremost what's the problem with Jamaica.
I don't want to know the problems with Jamaica, Honorable President. We know the problems. What we're talking about is fixing Jamaica. We know the problem. The problem there for the problem. If all we talk about is the problem, we'll never get nowhere. We need to get to it and tell what we need to do. Take action. We love talk about what is the problem. We like talk about this not gonna work. We like that mentality is just let me tell you, that mentality there need a machete to it. Okay? We need to get a machete and chop up the mentality there. Because the time we hear it, the ancestors them sick of it. Okay? Action. We talk about we prideful and we strong and we this and we that as Jamaicans. Action needs to happen.
Power does not concede power. Power does not concede power. Nobody with no power will give you power. Power have to be taken. You have to wrestle power away from the oppressor. If you don't have, you have to go out there for it. Don't believe you can negotiate power on pen and paper. No.
That's what I'm saying.
Something.
Pen and paper not gonna work.
Get now work. No negotiation in no office.
Yes, let me explain to you guys what's going on.
Look at what happened to Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, you gotta have foresight. It's called foresight. You can see the future based on what's happening.
Sometimes you have to be raw, you have to be brutal, and you have to be willing to grind. Right?
I'm sure the whole leader of Burkina Faso had foresight too, and he had but he didn't see Abraham Traore coming. I'm sure they had a lot of these other countries had foresight, but they did not see those other leaders coming.
Ma'am, can you guys let me finish? Can you guys let me land? Jamaica has way more bigger revolutionaries than Ibrahim Traore. That's why they got to hold Jamaica down. Do you even know that Dutty Bookman came from Jamaica? Listen, let me just finish. These are the people and the reasons why. You got to understand why are they fighting you.
We had Marcus Garvey. We had a lot of revolutionaries.
Those two people, Marcus Garvey and Dutty Bookman.
They don't even talk about Taki. There's a lot of people. But the point is, what we're saying to what we're doing is talking to the new party. I think you're trying to put other things, this is not, what we're doing is talking to the new party. What we're saying to them is for them to stand up if they want to really change. That's what we're addressing. We're addressing this new party. We don't want to go back to paying people and jail people because you keep diverting back to paying people and jail people. We're addressing the new
election in 2 months.
We're addressing the new
Big up yourself. A long time to know your Big up, real talk. You're one of the real, Bless you.
You know, see, I expel corruption,
Thank you so much for coming on, Bubbles.
Can you pass
Yeah, we're speaking from a point of facts, Let's look at it. You have an election in few months. You think that a party that nobody knows is going to win? You have an election in few months, and this is the most important election in Jamaica. This is going to write a new constitution. This is...
Yeah, he plays sports.
Me?
What sports you play?
Yeah. Why? I did cross country. I did
soccer and cross country. Okay, you know you're not the mid like any sports game. So let's do soccer, right? A lot of times during the game, people look on the game and say, based on how the players are playing and based on what's going on the field, there's no way. Especially if the other team already have 2 goals or ahead or something. There's no way this team can come back and even win. This is a game done and over with. So that's normally the mentality. But if you really play sports, you understand that every second on the clock matters. Every second on the clock matters. And when you might think that it doesn't matter because it's already won, it's the time that you lose. If you play even basketball, every second, that last 3 seconds on the clock before the buzzer go off, it can be the winning shot. So you cannot say, because you cannot, that is why we're addressing it. So if the UIC, that's what we're saying, if they're truly a revolutionary party, they will start standing up. We still have time. The time on the clock has not ran out. There is still time on the clock to change a lot of things. It depends on how hard you want to work and how determined you are and how revolutionary you want to get. But there's still time on the clock. And that's why we're addressing the UIC. But you can't just say it's not foresight. If you play sports, you understand that don't matter when there's time on the clock.
I'm not saying it's impossible. Just get what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just telling you.
Let me tell you something. We have enough negatives. We want to address them. So we want your help call them out. Call them out on the platform so we can talk to them. Because a couple times them come up here. Call them out so we can drill them. Call them out so we can ask them, are you truly the revolutionary party? That's what we need to do. We don't want to talk to paying people no more and jail people. We want to talk to this new party where they present themselves. Can you do what you have on paper? And what you going to do? Call them out. Because maybe them just, maybe...
Show you the boy, George, Davis, wicked in the demons.
I would have to make nice.
And them, all the people in the Euro circle, you know.
Okay, it's crux.
And I ask them where the PSOJ mean. Some people can't read and write. So the people want to say, we just come here for rate them there. And then the man...
You're trying to figure out what who we might have a conversation with.
Yeah, so host, as I'm saying, I'm not discouraging you. I'm not saying it's impossible. But you got to understand what they have planned for you and how you got to change it. If you don't understand what they have planned for you, there's no way you can change it. That's why I'm saying this is what's going to happen. I'm not saying that's the future and it's set in stone. I'm just saying this is the plan.
You said that you are supposed to be the president, the prime minister at Jamaica, right? That's what you said. Yeah. So why aren't you the prime minister of Jamaica?
So, background, I'm supposed to replace Omar Davis a few years ago. Supposed to get my doctorate and come back and be into politics. They still contact me right now, but at the moment, I'm just stuck being into politics. They still contact me right now.
No, go ahead. Now listen, somebody was...
Yeah, I was stuck overseas right now doing business and stuff, so that's why I'm not back there engaged in politics right now. So what
I'm hearing is you're pursuing your dream, so you don't have time to fight for Jamaica.
If you look at my profile, you see that my dreams is fighting for Jamaica.
Okay, so what's stopping you? So what's stopping you?
My main goal is to redo what Marcus Garvey did.
How are you doing that? I'm just trying to, because you said the first thing you came out and said you should be the prime minister. So once you come to Jamaica, want to do what you said you were, because it seems like you have the connects. It seems like you were supposed to be the next prime minister, and somehow them change their mind for you. But it's still, you must still have connects or whatever. So you are going to be the leader. And you said prime minister. That means you are going to still stay under the British monarch.
No, we were going to change the system. As I said, that was the plan a few years ago. Our goal is to change the system, but it's not going to be easy. It's a uphill fight. One, what you need to know what you're fighting for. If you said you want Britain to stop printing your money, you're going to literal war with Britain. See,
Okay, so my thing about this is, it sounds like you guys were fearful of Britain.
It's not fearful, man. As I said, there's a lot of stuff that Jamaica needs. And the people right now,
but if you know that, why aren't you being the voice? Why haven't you spoken out about all of this? You seem like you had inside information, but yet you remain quiet and silent like most churches.
I am not a famous person. I speak out.
It doesn't matter if you're famous. I'm not famous.
I gave you the point that you guys need to speak about the referendum that's coming up.
Yeah, but why haven't you, who said you should be the prime minister?
I spoke about it. Look at my page. Look at my page.
But you could do more than just be on your page, because you said you had to connect somebody that you was supposed to be the next leader. That means you have connection. Somebody else must have supported you, so there must be a way for you to highlight in Jamaica, because this is the first time I hear about you. I hear about somebody else supposed to be prime minister.
Yeah, so what you need to understand.
So you're just like the UIC, invisible, but you don't have all of these plans and paperwork.
Please understand, the JLP is in power. They get all the money right now. They control the media. They control everything.
So you're paying P then?
Yes, I am supported by them. I do know them. I do have connections with them. I told you, Omar Davis.
Okay, okay, so let's talk about the paying P. Because the paying P, you said you got overlooked by somebody else, but yet the paying P has had so many internal issues that's been publicly highlighted. Why haven't you come back to make sure that party is actually following in the footsteps that they should have been following from the get-go? Why not come back and heal your party since you are paying P and put them on the right track?
They can't turn it for that.
Okay, so let me answer that question. The both PMP and JLP will be infiltrated. Once Jamaica money is printed overseas, it don't matter who runs the country, it matters who controls the money. So who controls the money? They can pay the highest puppet to be in power. They can pay whoever. So that's how it actually works in most democracy. Let me tell you about
Never heard about that community called Arena?
Arena, where is that?
In South Africa.
No, what about it?
Okay, so they have their own money that they use. They're in South Africa. They have their own system of government. They take care of their own people. They build their own house. They do everything on their own. So it sounds like you still need England to help you. You're afraid to pull away because you don't really have a plan. You never had a plan for Jamaica.
Ma'am, I never told you I'm afraid to pull away. I told you my plan is to separate the dollar, to separate our dollar. We need our money.
But you never have a plan. So we're not going to talk to that honorable president. We're going to talk to the UIC who actually wrote a plan. They have a revolution. They have a plan. It's just that they're not taking action. And that's why we want to call them out. Because if somebody come here and say I'm supposed to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica under the PNP party, and them throw me one side like they do everybody else. That's what they did to Lisa Anna. You hear Damian Crawford talking about Mark was only a 2-year Prime Minister. It's always a conflict within that party. There's no cohesion, okay? It's just a bunch of people smiling and pretending to like each other. So them can't get the people them and keep them as puppets. So
ma'am, you have to look at facts.
Therefore,
yeah.
Look, if you go on my page, you can hear the voice note. And I'm here say that's what Damian Crawford said out of own mouth.
No,
then he came on a second time and he said, and he was trying to make some Liam. It is there out of his mouth and my mouth. I fit him mouth, not mine. I put him up there with fit him mouth, not my mouth. So what I'm saying is, if you're in a position to do something and you don't take the opportunity to do it, yet still you're saying I should be this and I should be that.
I'm not in the position yet. What are you talking? I'm not in the position yet. I have the connections. I'm not in the position as yet. We know what needs to be done, but there is a strong fight against that.
So let's talk about
the JLP is getting paid 10 times as much.
Obviously, you have no impact on PNP, so let's talk about the UIC. Let's get to the UIC. Let's talk about a whole nother party. That's why you're so against the UIC, because you're still hopefully that the PNP is going to do something different. Let's forget the PNP.
I'm not against anybody. I'm giving you facts who is going to win or not. You can't say someone is going to win when nobody knows about it.
You don't know who's going to win. You don't know who's going to win. What if Andrew Holness decide to take the country republic before the election and proclaim himself president?
That's what's going to happen.
I'm using pepper.
It's happening at the same time as the election. That's what I'm telling you.
And what if he don't and the election happens and he just remove himself? That's what I'm saying. You say you have enforced.
What do you mean remove himself? Who is going to take power of the full country and then remove? First of all, he's not even going to get full power.
Listen, if he becomes the president, technically, He can't be the prime minister. He has to step out of the prime minister's shoes. If he decides to make himself president, because that president would have not been elected by the people, you can look it up. Like you say, it was in politics. So still there would technically have to be an election to create a prime minister, because Andrew could no longer be a prime minister and the president.
It's going to be transferred over to him, ma'am.
No, that's not how it's going to work. Look it up how it's going to work. Really, want to go look it up, sir, because
no, that's not how I know that's not how it works. There's supposed to be another election for the president.
There's not going to be an election for the president. There's not going to be. He's going to go into that position in replacing the governor general. Because he have to get rid of the crown, so he have to take like the space of the governor general and oversee stuff. That's what they're truly writing up if you really look at it.
Ma'am, I don't like speaking about theory, but let me explain to you what's gonna happen. As I said, he's not like speaking about theory, but let me explain to you. He's not telling you guys about the referendum.
Okay, thank you. All right, so somebody came up here. I am one. We can't say that comment. Go ahead, the one law. Okay, one law gone. LG, you've been sending a lot. Okay, one law gone. LG, you've been sending a lot of comments in the comment. Go ahead and speak. You seem like you have a lot on your mind. Go ahead. Dino. LG, and I have nothing. Nadria, queen. Okay, LG, and I have nothing. Nadria, queen.
But no one give another person a space so we can go and listen. Would I like to hear about this new party and if any of them can come on your panel? You understand?
And that's why I'm calling, because the last time I got one of them to come and speak. However, like I said, when they speak, a lot they really don't connect with the people based on a lot of the comments that were seen on the live. There's no real connection with the true grassroots people. So everything that they're saying, although I might understand it, you might understand it, the average Jamaican don't understand it because they don't understand these political and technical terms. And that
listening.
And so the UIC needs to actually come and terms. And so the UIC needs to actually come and speak to the people, to the heart of the people, break down their manifesto to the lowest level to explain to the people exactly, instead of using the political and the technical terms, use words that are going to back on the land. We're not going to get the land redistribution if that's what they're doing. Okay, we're going to have education. We're going to make sure education, Garveyism is taught. We're going to make sure that we're going to learn Funu. That's what they need to be letting the people know, how they're going to rewrite the Constitution. It's going to be written by the people for the people. If that's what they're going to do. But they have to tell the people, like, literally, just talk to them, not talk at them, because a lot of times it seems like they're talking at them. I've been calling them up because I started this live talking about. And that's why I've been calling them up, because I started this live talking about jail people and paying people. And then I said, let me address this new party, UIC, because they keep sending message. Join the UIC, vote for UIC. Somebody said, let me address the UIC, because nobody know about UIC. I can't endorse something that when we wake up in the morning and go to the supermarket, we don't even see. So it's almost like a ghost unless you plan on doing a complete military takeover and we don't know. And like I said, a comment say, I think UIC is for uptown people. And if UIC is for uptown people, them already lost. They've already lost the battle. So we can just move on from the UIC and decide where we going to find us at Abraham Traore. Because at that point, that's what we need. It's at Abraham Traore. And that's what... And that's what...
Jamaica found one man in the 70s, but the people rejected him by 1980. When he wanted to return the lands of the country to the people, bring education to the people, provide houses for the people, provide hospitals to the people. But the people rejected him miserably in 1980. You have been making some very wonderful points also. I've been watching you for a while, and I'm following you for a while. But I realized You make some very good points, but we can't crucify Norman Manley. He was never given a chance to be a prime minister of this country. He tried, but he has never been a prime minister. Michael ruled as a premier, but it was still under the British ruling. By the time we got independence, then he didn't get that chance. But if you look at what Norman was fighting for, was to educate the black people of Jamaica, give them back land. Michael picked up the policies and decided to do it in the 70s. When Michael, when common sense talking about that garbage, when Michael took power, only 1% of Jamaicans, it is in the history, 1% of Jamaicans had a high school education. The rest of us, people have learned to read and write like as an elementary school. Only 1% of Jamaica had high school education. So a revolution came into education under Michael Manley in the 70s, where every person got a chance of entering high school. And what he did, he didn't want to look partial. Norman Manley created what's known as a common entrance when he was premier. So that you could take the common entrance and get a chance to go to high school. But what the JLP did it in the 60s was he was still get the chance of occupying all these schools. It was a Michael Manley who changed it again in the 70s and said, no, any amount of scholarship. For you pass, you pass. Everybody has the freedom to get into education. We got a freedom to get up to university free of cost. So what Michael was doing is to educate the people. What common sense talking about the economy was better. It wasn't a Jamaican economy, it was a British economy. These were the people who owned all the industries in Jamaica. The bauxite, everything, they owned them. Jamaica owned nothing. They had already mined all the majority of gold, because the gold was surface in Jamaica in those days. Easy to mine. Surface in Jamaica in those days. Easy to mine. And after the British realized they mined out all the golds. They gave up on gold and decided to give the black people banana plantation and sugar plantation. Because sugar was needed on the world market. Then what you find after that is that Michael came to power and realized, why should we be digging out our soil, giving it to all these countries, making aluminum? Which black person could afford to buy an aluminum pot in those days, or put an aluminum roof over your house? We need to talk to this multilateral. We must get something out of our backside. So he fight and he said, I'm going to put a levy onto the backside. We must earn something from it, because we were not earning anything from the backside. And because of that, the multilateral decided, this man, we don't like this man. So they start to infiltrate him by using Edward Seaga to do the groundwork on the ground. So when common sense talk about money bring violence, go back and check it. It's the first gun violence in Jamaica started by Edward Seaga. Mark you, 2 ranks can't make a right. What took place is that Dolly Thompson decided we're going to fight this thing fire for fire. And then Dolly started to distribute guns also in Jamaica. But if you look at the early 70s, there was never any gun violence in Jamaica. What you'll find the PNP walk with is a broom. And decided they will sweep out labor. No weapon were used. The gun came in when Seaga took the reign of the JLP. So common sense, and I've been talking to common sense since him saying he was such a heavy part of the PNP. I'm going to give him a name, but I gave him a name. I tell him, say, tell me who's that person. Because if he was any at all in the leader and the movement of the PNP in that time, you would have to know that person. So common sense is baptized in the blood of the JLP. You go from platform to platform spreading all sorts of propaganda and lies. Both him was a part of the PNP movement and up and down the campaign mic. It's a lie. Total lie. What Seaga done to the country in the 80s was destroy our education system. He closed down a lot of the teachers' colleges. He closed down the nursing schools. He closed down a portion of the hospitals. Yet the same person who claims it done, this person was Portia Simpson, had a better vision. If you realize Portia had started to revise the old town fireworks, put them on a body by themselves. She decided she started to send out some of the firemen to training. to become first respondent and start to keep some of these, equip these fire stations with ambulances. So when you get the call, they will be the first to move, because what was happening, a lot of persons are layman will see an accident, take up the person, throw them in a car trunk or a back seat and rush them to hospital. Yes, they're trying to help, but you damage the patient more. Because you have to know how to lift that patient, how to do everything to that patient before you take them on to the hospital. And she created a system which Andrew always came and destroyed. She was the person who drew all these plans for the new fire houses. Every fire station must have much ambulance there. And they said first responding, they're supposed to be the first responding. Once they call emergency call, the fire unit will move and the ambulance will move also with the fire unit. All those programs have been scrapped since Andrew always come to power. Look what Norman tried to do to Jamaica. When Norman became premium, decided he wanted what was known as a federation. In other words, you wanted to unite the Caribbean as one country. It's only different states, but different one country. So it's one president. It could come from Jamaica, it could come from Barbados, it could come from anywhere in the Caribbean. The JLP take the bribe from the colonists again and decide you need to fight against that system. They don't want to see black people unite. You're going to be too powerful if you are united. So Bustamante take it and went to the people with a propaganda again, do not accept federation. And the people voted Michael Norman decided to go to a referendum. Many people decided we want it or not. And the people rejected it. So there's a complete difference in the then PNP and the JLP.
Go ahead. Welcome, Mish. Go ahead.
I'm in the comment section and wonderful program, Empress. But, you know, so most old people not get it and then not gonna get it, bro. You're running on about what the PNP do or JLP do, or who introduce guns to society and this and that. But it's like, again, fingers pointing over and over again, and another JLP or another PNP is going to come and debunk and say certain things and add to the confusion. And it's the same for the same, and nobody have solution. Finger pointing. They both destroy Jamaica, and people who is actually celebrating this should be ashamed of themselves. You get me? They both destroy the country. So let's make that clear.
And I wouldn't agree with you on that. I wouldn't agree with you on that because
no, but you was running on for at least 10 minutes about contribution, about who this and who did that.
I spoke about.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes, my name is Jahbunny, better known as Badass from West Kingston. I'm 71 years old, yeah? And I just want to address, first of all, Empress, respect and love. I just discovered this week and I'm actually following you. Now, good evening everyone and brethren. Now, the issue where me want to come from, because I listen for the last 2 hours. Actually, I record it. Abraham Sholem, I may have problem with it. No disrespect now, sis. I know you stand up on, yeah? My position with him right now is that we have been there already. You know what I'm saying, a while? We have been there already. I just hear the last brethren speak a while about whole people. I'm 71 years old. Now, when the CIA run in Jamaica, and me and my team, you know what I'm saying, a while? Me and my team, which I a Rasta baby. And me and my team now West Kingston stand up to the CIA. The CIA come through Rasta too. So you have to understand how the struggle go down.
So you're one of them who contribute to the destruction of Jamaica.
Let me finish talk.
Let him finish.
Then you can accuse me.
What the problem is.
Yeah.
I also want to know what your problem is.
Now shut me down now and shame me. No, it's not you me attack. The bridge me attack. No, you can't shame me. Me a real old boy.
Just want to add that to your speech. What your problem is with Abraham Charm. Just
Yeah,
answer
no,
your question.
but the brethren before me, that I don't tell you. Because I'm there now, first of all, I England I live for the past nearly 50 years. So I'm there, I defend PMP or Liberal. I bust my gun for both of them.